Kumbhadre Swami. I'm going to record this video for my favorite teacher, my guru, Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. We connected via cosmic, like clairvoyantly. I grew up with clairvoyant skills from my younger age. My parents were not very aware of these skills, but I was always guided. And I think I always had different teachers. My first teacher was a neighbor who taught me Vishnu Sahasranama, and afterwards I joined the Ahbali Mat Bhagavatam recitation, and then I joined Chinmaya Trust. They used to have kids discourses on Bhagavad Gita, and then that's how, my spiritual skills built. Then my mom, I think she must have had some clairvoyant skill. There is no way I would have developed this without her guidance. But when I told her I need to be a siddha, like a healer, she said I needed to be a doctor first. So because of her, I became a physician. And then I forgot the original intention of me being a healer. And then I met my current, or rather my teacher, Master Chawakuk Sui, and he died in 2006. And he told us, like, when we come across our living guru, we need to follow. I did come across Ammaji, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, but for some reason my soul was not attracted to them. Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, he was doing a discourse in 2016, and through my friend in California, I found him, and I saw him tear up during a satsang, because that's when he canceled his Trinidad Tobago course, and my heart was torn. I was thinking, why is a saint so hurt? And then I came across all the gossips they were telling about him, and I was appalled at the way they were attacking him. So I decided no man should walk alone. Like I feel good people need good support. So I actually took a month vacation. I went to Sadashivoham 2016. And yes, it is expensive. Like people are saying, oh, how could you pay so much money and go? I was planning to go only for a weekend, and his weekend courses are free. But I think his Sangha member, his name is Vishweshwara. For some reason, he was very ferocious. He convinced me, and I'm so grateful for that. Seriously, I'm so grateful. Of all the people, I think if he was not there, I would have never gone to Sadashiva. So I owe my connection with Swamiji to Vishweshwar. I think Sadashivam 2016 was very interesting. I went there for him. So even before I went there, I knew he will give us boons. So the only 2 boon I wanted was for him. Because as a mother, to save their child, I went. So my first one, he kept on saying, India is its own country. So I asked for Rudradinam, which is a space, not a place. So I started Facebook page, Rudradinam, at Rudradinam. If you look, it's a Rudra meditation online once a week. Because that resets our DNA in 13 different octaves. And that allows us to generate our own energy frequency that would reset everything in our life. And that's a magical vibration. Then I asked for the second boon, which is Nitya Kumbha Mela, because he said the Kumbha Mela celebration is unique to Hinduism. So I asked, and because it comes only once in 4 years, I thought, let me be fancy. I asked him for Nitya Kumbh Mela, and he granted me that. And interestingly, there is a portal in near Rhode Island that opened up a cliff walk. And when I went there, the energy was due to radiation seaweed. And Swamiji does mention there are some herbs that's given us remedy even before the disease comes. The radiation seaweed is going to be the remedy for vector-borne illnesses in future, because having a strong nervous system is how we restore our energy. So this was revealed indirectly by the radiation seaweed. I also, like a clairvoyantly, connect with different herbs, and they reveal their secret with me as well. So why I'm recapping this is there are like a lot of videos about what is the effect of Guru Sishya relationship, because Swami Nithyananda is about re-establishing Guru's disciple or Gurukul, like, Guru disciple lineage, Sampradaya. And he wants to create an ecosystem, which is our temples. So it's called Sarvangyapeet, Shaktipeet, and Sarvangyapeet, both. Traditionally we used to have landmark areas with different frequency to reset certain regions. And this is the core he's working on. And understanding that I cannot do it, so I would really like to support him on his venture. So understanding where he's at and how he's using that to evolve to the next level is how I want to support him. But indirectly, one thing I'm also getting into astrology and other stuff. I'm a physician. They call it Ashtama Siddhi. You need to be, or rather, people used to be expert in 8 different fields simultaneously, and I think there are certain gifts given to me, so I am good at some of the things I do. So in astrology, the place where Ketu, which is the shadow, Ketu is lunar eclipse, Rahu is solar eclipse, so it's the tail end of the snake. That actually, the house where it sits is the purpose of our birth. So mine is at 12th house, which means I need to pay back my dad the debts I owe from my previous birth. So my dad is always poor. Sometimes it gets like challenging for me to understand when is he ever going to get out of his poverty, but that's not my business. But one of the things is to help my dad. I try to teach him and I learn a new skill. So that's how I get expanding. So the Guru, Jupiter in our astrological place, and the distance between Guru and Ketu, the houses, for me it was 8. And you take away the solar zodiac sign is. See, because I also do Nadi Vaidyam, I did a lot of research, nadivaidyam.org. So my solar zodiac is Aries, Mesham, and that has 100 points. And you can go online and research all this. And my lunar zodiac, they call it Lagna. And that's because at the latitude, longitude, when I was born, the star system where it lands, my star was Mars. Where it is sitting is in the house of Kumbh, which is Aquarian, has a point of 75. So 100 plus 75 is 175. If I divide it by the distance between Guru and Ketu, which is 8, I get roughly 17.5. So 17.5 hertz, I think that's like another math, okay? It's a voice mapping I do. So each one has a frequency according to these scales. So if you see 17.5 would be right brain, repetitive thinking, creative thinking, independent thinking, right brain. So I'm very much influenced by right brain. So if in case it's in harmony, okay, this area, which means pancreas, accountability. I'll be accountable and stuff. But usually, if there is environmental issue that is affecting the way I think, my right brain, which is environmental toxin, I would be responding with anger, acceptance of change issue. Versus if in case I have karmic, like my emotional thinking brain is affected because of the way I was raised, I would have inability to express properly, imploding depression and stuff. So understanding this part is also important. The reason is the distance between Jupiter and Ketu, traditionally, how I said it, 8 houses. But Ketu is just thinking, this is what Nithyananda Paramahamsa told. And that's how I got released. Karma is just a thinking. So in the United States, they teach it as thinking for a change, T4C. And because thinking changes behavior, and even Jain Chandrasekhar Swamiji says the same way. He says to shift a behavior, we need to shift people's thinking. That's why he says E.V. Ramaswamy made many people atheist because he shifted their thinking. He made them feel ashamed of being a Hindu, and people started praying. That's how the whole secularism starts. So it was fascinating. It's all hidden. Like, we as being born in India is such a blessing. And so this Ketu, because my teacher is telling me all this, he chewed up the time, the houses, the difference between the Jupiter, the teacher, and the Ketu, right? The minute my thinking shifts, I don't have that distance, that 8 houses is not there, existent anymore. So that's what having a teacher does. It takes away. And he taught me how to work without sleep and go without eating. All the worldly restriction that made me not to really focus on what is important for me. And the other thing he released me was my hairstyle. I used to worry about my bad hair and stuff. And he made us wear dreads. I love my dreads. I cannot wait for it to grow as big as my teacher. So my dreads. So now no more hair care product. I never need to worry. And then he gave me my robe, Ati Ashrama. He said, because I was asking him, because I was influenced by Varahi in energy. And he said, my path is different. He says, go to your source book, look at it. And he gave me a choice of looking up Shakta worship, which is by Adi Shankara himself, Dattas, they all, or Avadutas, Adi Ashramites, Siddhas. I was attracted to everything, but I think I finally picked Adi Ashrama because I do positive anonymous 12-step program, and Ramana Maharishi, he did the same thing. He was Adi Ashrama. He was beyond spirituality and religion, and his was Hermitage and Retreat Center, which is what I do, Hermitage and Retreat Center. So that another thing. And then the money, he disconnected me with the idea of money. And so he made me evolve out of the matrix. So what happened was he showed us whatever we earn towards the year end to flush it back to our family and not to hoard, let the money flow and earn enough. So for the one whole year, you're able to go on without worrying about making money. And he said only 3 things: stable mood for health, flexible time for wealth, and relationship you could trust. So these 3 is enough, he said. And same thing he said about health: ability to digest anything, ability to emotionally tolerate anything, and ability to sacrifice is the best healthy way to live. So these are the things I got from my teacher. And then he, once we did the Sadashivam 2016, he asked us to come back to do the completion. He said what he started was an energy So my master Choa Kuksui gave me, he was doing a lecture about spiritual essence of man, and he was talking about Nirvikalpa Samadhi versus Shaktipat. So Yogananda, Paramahamsa Yogananda, always used to release people. So he would do Nirvikalpa Samadhi at the end for his disciples. So that is like, all the emotional bondages you hold, you burn away. That's the way I understand it. And when I asked this question, Master Choa asked me, it was in New York, he asked me to come near, and he opened my thoracic spine. That's where actually I didn't realize it's Vasi Yoga, where you anchor your soul with that heart, heart where our karma is written. So he instilled Shaktipat for me. It felt, I didn't feel anything, seriously, like, and he said, "What do you feel?" And I didn't want to look like a fool, so I kind of like told him, "Thank you," and I left, but I didn't feel anything. Then when, after the Sadashiva Home, Swamiji asked us to go on a Kailash trip with him, like on a meditation. Oh my God. So he did Shakti Nipad. There is a difference between Shaktipad and Shakti Nipad. Shakti Nipad is done in the presence of the master in his breathing space. So the energy transfer is quicker, whereas Shaktipad is in Divya Darshan, like you do it remote. So he instilled another seed in me, in my Ananda Kanda, and I could feel literally like, seed dropping in the water. You could feel plum, plum. And I was thinking, how could I get two seeds? And that's when I realized actually it's Master Choa's seed. And I couldn't receive because I didn't have the right attitude, maybe, or I didn't have the awareness. But when Swamiji did the Shaktini path, I received both. And like, the trip was wild. Like, I could see where my final soul's destination would be. And the other thing Swamiji did for me is he let me connect with my mom who's departed. And I literally could see her hanging out in Nithyananda Sacred Arts University. And I was watching another guy's video. I forgot his name. He says something, guru abuses. His name is Johnny. He says, I forgot what his channel is. He's totally pissed out. Swamiji, Nithyananda Paramashiva. I think whether we like it or not, we are entangled with the teacher. It's all our attitude. So he said, when you get a timeout from Swamiji, essentially you hang out in sacred art. So I don't know that my mom was making penance after her death. I don't know what was happening, but she was doing the deity of Raja Rajeshwari. And then Swamiji is doing Golden Temple in Vidadi. So he asked us to contribute for that. And he said whoever contributes, their family would be instilled into those deities. And he said people, when they pray, that Archana effect will go for all our future generations. And when Swamiji was doing Sri Shukta, because I'm very much connected with my mother, a mother of abundance, Lakshmi, I did a mano tapas, like mentally, to imagine her and pray, and she blessed me as Karveer Nivasini. And she is in crystal caves in India, in Pune. Hers is made of crystals, gems and stuff. So she, she likes this prayer called Sri Suktam. So she says, call me with Sri Suktam, I'll come. So it starts with Hiranyavaranam, Harinim, Subarnarada Jasrajam. So when Raja Rajeshwari's initiation, they call it Prana Pradishta, was happening, when they recited Sri Shuktam, Swamiji was saying whenever they were doing Prana Pradishta, when they were doing puja, he will use that family's name and he will send in the prayers. And I think he did that. And I literally saw my mother get in during Sri Shuktam inside Raja Rajeshwari's deity. And I was thinking, oh my God, can you imagine, like, for zillions of years, our family getting blessed? So that's another blessing I received. And then Swamiji did Maheshwara Puja for my mother, and he literally almost feels like he ate her soul. So he's like grooming her inside, and she came to me and joined hands with me again this year. So these are the things I get from my teacher. What do I get from my teacher is the ability to connect with my departed mother and to be able to work with her on the other side, because she'll come and tell me whatever I need to do without even Akashic reading and all the other stuff. Like, it is effortless. And then yesterday, Swamiji said he did a download for all of us. What did he do for? Oh, Karupusami. Like, he was doing Kali downloads. Time, I think it is essence of time portal. Like, he says the billion trillion years or existing simultaneously in space. That's the space he downloaded for us, and he called it Karupasami or Kali, Mahakala space. And it's a very sacred space inside us. Everything is in our breathing space. That's all we need to understand. And I felt so dizzy when I received that. My patients thought I got high because I was like literally drunk with that energy. So it's still, I'm reeling sometimes today too. So what do I get from my guru? Things that I could never, ever, ever possible as achievable in this lifetime, I already achieved, and it's not even something I need to question or share, but I'm sharing so that people will understand. Like, it's like almost like you grow leaps and bounds, like how they say in Asian world, they say we stand on the shoulders of a giant. So, like, all the journeys, all the hard work my teacher did puts us like way ahead. So he really literally choose up our time, so we don't need to waste time on things I don't need to. So Swamiji said he will grant us 11 wishes this year. So I wrote only 6. I ran out of ideas. He called me. I always used to fall asleep whenever he calls. So finally one day he caught me when I was awake, and he took a look at my book from remote, right? So he says, all your 6 wishes granted. I was thinking, oh my God, that was so cute. So my 6 wishes are manifest what my family wants, manifest what Swamiji wants, do podcasts, and share all my knowledge. Keep life simple, because I am a very simple girl at heart. I am not fancy. And when I tie the threads that makes me so rich with all these glass bangles and stuff, and that's enough for me, and advance in clairvoyance and pay off all my debts. So Swamiji said, what do you want to do for podcast? I said, Swamiji, I want a red color dot, like how they do it. So Swamiji showed me, he put like a little dot on his hand, and he plopped me in and spun me around, and he kept walking. In energy, looked so huge. I was like a little dot. So he keeps walking, and I'm keeping chatting in my in his hand, So it was so cute. And then eventually I was hearing him with somebody, and he says, my babies are all in my hands, he was saying. That was so cute. So there are so many ways he validates what we feel, and he gives words for my inner experience, which I love. And then what else I wanted to share? An advance and clairvoyance, of course, he gave it to me. And like I said, when I saw the radiation seaweed, the portal, I brought my husband. My husband doesn't believe in my teacher. And my husband said he could feel that intense energy. And he said he felt queasy first. I said, do you want to step back? He said, no. When you come across new energy, you will have that pull back. But he says you just go out and get used to it and be humble and come back in. And he eventually was able to get into that energy portal. So we had and that's when we realized it was radiation seaweed. And that's another thing. So Swamiji opened that Kali energy in me. So I felt literally like that radiation seaweed. My tongue unfurled and it felt like waves of seaweed going out, And that's why I like this, because when I put it in water, this will look exactly like seaweed. And then, oh, Swamiji also said he assumed all my loans. And I was chewing a blade of grass and he says, do you know that grass is me? So he says he's also inside me and outside me. All that I identify as me is him, uh, like a miniature version of him is me. So it was so nice. I think that's how a guru student relationship is, because you don't doubt each other, you don't like question him, you don't like want yours slippers to be worshipped. That's not the point. The actually slipper worship people are misunderstanding. The slipper worship is to gather all the walks he's done. Like I walked 1,000 miles to just see you, right? So you don't need to walk the 1,000 mile, and you imbibe all that knowledge just by spraying it with the water. You gather that energy. So I think if you keep the right context, you'll get it. And this is exactly and people were the other thing I wanted to share is like how he said flush back all the money. So I did end up like helping a lawyer, and my and then she did pay me back the money. I gave it as a loan, and for some reason she decided to have an attitude about it, and so I went to court. I won my case. So now I tell Swamiji, I like your teaching, but it doesn't work with these cheating people. So I'm being a little bit more prudent. He means very well, but each time the world teaches that we don't need this much love, you're too good for us. He pulls back. And same way, like I feel personally, I do everything the way he asked me the first time. Then you learn from the world. Oh, you know what? These guys have totally a distorted view. So I decide to change the way that works for me. And he does want us to do the Indian way of dressing, and I find, because I am in America, I use essential oil, turmeric oils, and I do wear my nose ring, but you cannot even see probably. It's like a miniature dot. Can you see it? Anyway, so I'm an Indian at my heart and soul, but Swamiji also wants us as rishis and yogis to wear a prayer shawl. So this is my prayer shawl, and I have my yantras, and this is Sri yantra. So I keep my shawl, and usually for yoginis, you wear it sideways. But because we are in America, I can kind of like distort. I wear it like a scarf sometimes. So you can be stylish. Who cares? Nobody's going to question us. So I have come a long way. I think thanks to my teacher, my loving master, my best friend. I've never had this type of a friend. And anytime I have any doubts, I'll keep bothering him by saying, Swamiji, why is this happening? And I'll write letters to him, and he'll always write back. He's so nice to me. And I'm also very truant with him. He'll ask me something, and I'll always break the promise I made with him, but he's very thoughtful. Anything I do, he never gives me a time out, or he always accepts me where I am. So that's the best thing about having a great teacher. I love him so much. I cannot wait to be part of his, once my world duty is done, to join him on the other side as well, because I think having that type of a guru I feel I never need to walk my life alone. How they say in footprints, when you see only one footprints, that's the time he'll carry us. And I know I've arrived home because of my teacher. Thank you, Swamiji. Kumbhadre Swami. This video, I did it for you as my testimonial to all you have given me in my life. Thank you. And the other joke that happened, Ramana Maharishi, I don't know how I got even this picture. I think it is my husband. He probably had it, I think. So this picture, right? My patients will always come and say, is he your husband? Is he your husband? I told Ramana Maharshi, next time somebody sees that, you're going to become my husband. You better watch out. I love him. He's so cute. They don't talk back. So I love it. I love my teacher. I love all my ascended masters. Thank you, Ramana Maharshi. Oh, by the way, I learned a new tidbit was Ramana Maharshi used to be a Brahmin, and he threw his sacred threads and shaved off his head, and he became a Maharishi. I grew up as a Brahmin, and I never do anything that is remotely connected with Brahmin. I broke all the rules. And I was thinking of saying something. What was it? I was thinking of telling you. Oh, I used to call him autistic because I heard he never spoke. And then I found out he was a nice guy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I called you autistic. I had a mouth on me. But I started like admiring Ramana Maharishi afterwards. He's so awesome. So that is my spiel.